Not many people know about Benjamin Franklin's first kite experiment. Even as a boy, he was interested in trying new things. But let Benjamin Franklin tell you about growing up in his own words.
I was the youngest child but two, and was born in Boston. I remember 13 sitting at one time at my father's table. I was put to the grammar school at 8 years of age. I acquired fair writing pretty soon, but I failed in the arithmetic and made no progress in it. At 10 years old, I was taken home to assist my father in his business. I was employed in cutting wick for candles, filling the dipping mold, and going on errands. I do not remember when I could not read. All the little money that came into my hands was ever laid out in books. This bookish inclination at length led my father to make me a printer, though he had already one son, James, of that profession. Though a brother, James considered himself my master and me his apprentice. My brother was passionate and had often beaten me. Thinking my apprenticeship very tedious, I wished for some opportunity of shortening it.
At 17, Ben decided to run away. So he sold his books and used the money for a boat ticket to Philadelphia. Ben liked Philadelphia right away. He found work as a printer and easily made friends with his fellow workers. In the evenings, Ben and his new friends would sit around discussing topics of the day. They enjoyed these discussions so much that Ben organized them into a debating club. Ben got along well with the opposite sex, too, and at 24, he married Deborah Reed, whom he had known since he arrived in Philadelphia. By now, Ben was Mr. Franklin, with his own printing business and bookstore. Mrs. Franklin helped by waiting on customers in the front of the shop. In 1732, Franklin started his own newspaper called the Pennsylvania Gazette. He not only published the paper, he also wrote many of the articles himself. The paper was an immediate success. Its news stories were easy to read and up to date. Its articles were controversial, and people liked the Gazette's local gossip. Franklin kept his readers interested by writing in installments, which he continued from one issue to the next. Franklin's newspaper was so popular that he decided to publish an almanac, which people used as a calendar and a weather guide. In the almanac, he wrote sayings that became very popular.
Honesty is the best policy. Look ahead or you will find yourself behind. 3 may keep a secret if 2 are dead.
The almanac made Franklin well known throughout the colonies. His clever advice convinced people that Franklin was a practical person, a man with common sense, and someone they could trust. Franklin lived up to his reputation. He had a strong community spirit. In one proposal, he suggested a plan to have street cleaners haul garbage away. The plan worked so well that Franklin got people to buy brighter street lights and hire honest night watchmen. His interest in the community even led Franklin to organize the city's first fire department. He also began a lending library to promote the spread of knowledge. Then, Franklin turned his energy to founding a school for boys. Franklin insisted that there be a charity section for children who couldn't pay their own way. The Philadelphia Academy was advanced in another way. Franklin believed boys should study mechanics, drawing, accounting, gardening, and swimming. Most schools in the 18th century didn't offer these subjects. Franklin's good work earned him people's respect. He was elected to serve in the Colonial Assembly, where he suggested a defense plan for settlers on the Pennsylvania frontier. He was a busy public official. But inside the successful man, there lived a curious boy. Franklin never stopped asking questions. Did ants talk to one another? Did metal conduct heat faster than wood? In what direction did storms travel? Franklin wondered about scientific mysteries, and he tried to find answers to his questions. Electricity fascinated Franklin most of all. He set up a workroom, and in his spare time, he began conducting experiments. Friends came by to watch. Franklin's son, William, helped him with his most famous experiment. One day, during a storm, they flew a kite with a metal key attached to the rope. Franklin wanted to know if lightning was the same as electricity. When the rope sizzled and sparks flew from the key, Franklin knew the answer. Lightning and electricity were the same. As a result of this discovery, Franklin invented a rod that kept people's homes from being struck by lightning. Franklin also invented a stove that burned less fuel. It was set away from the wall so that more heat stayed in the room instead of escaping up the chimney. In no time, colonists nicknamed it the Franklin stove. Franklin invented brighter streetlights. And he devised bifocal glasses. These useful inventions could have made Franklin a lot of money. But he didn't patent his ideas. He thought it was important to share his ideas so everyone could benefit from them. Whatever Franklin put his mind to, he improved. When he was appointed Postmaster General of the colonies, he immediately set about making mail service better. Mail was delivered more often, and routes were more direct. These improvements helped bring the colonies closer together. Franklin had another idea for uniting the colonies. At a Congress held in Albany, New York, he proposed a plan of union. The delegates, including Indians from 6 nations, liked the plan. But it was too early for its time. The colonial assemblies turned it down. But 20 years later, many colonists thought of themselves as Americans. They were ready for independence, even if it meant war with England. In April of 1775, Minutemen began fighting with British redcoats in Lexington, Massachusetts. Several weeks later, a Congress of leading men from all the colonies met in Philadelphia to discuss the crisis with England. Franklin was one of the representatives from Pennsylvania. At 69, he was the oldest representative at the Congress. John Adams could not understand why Franklin was chosen for so many important committees, since he spent a great part of the time fast asleep in his chair. Nevertheless, Franklin's opinion held great weight with the other delegates. On July 2nd, 1776, Franklin and the Congress voted to declare themselves independent of Great Britain. Franklin became one of the 56 signers of the Declaration of Independence. A newspaper called him the great patron of American liberty. During the rest of the war, Franklin served as the American minister to France. The ocean voyage across the Atlantic took more than 5 weeks. News of Franklin's appointment spread quickly to Paris, and crowds eagerly greeted him wherever he went. The French loved the famous old scientist. And Franklin became an immediate success in French society. Franklin's prestige enabled him to raise enormous sums of money, which he used to buy war supplies for the Continental Army and to support naval operations against British shipping. Finally, Franklin's diplomacy paid off. France agreed to a treaty of alliance with the United States. King Louis XVI acknowledged the new treaty by receiving Franklin at his court. French aid was crucial in helping the new nation defeat the British, especially at the Battle of Yorktown. Here, British General Cornwallis was trapped and had to surrender his 8,000 men. Several months after Yorktown, the British gave up. Franklin helped write the peace treaty, which was signed in 1783. America had won independence, and Franklin's role had been invaluable. When Franklin returned to Philadelphia, he received a hero's welcome. At last, Franklin thought he could rest. But Franklin's public life was still not over. At 79, when most people are taking life easy, Franklin was elected president of the new state of Pennsylvania. Several years later, he even attended the convention that wrote a new constitution. This made Franklin the only American to sign the Declaration of Independence, the peace treaty, and the United States Constitution. When Franklin died in 1790, he was buried in Christ Church Cemetery next to his wife, Deborah. Philadelphia mourned its good and generous citizen, who is still remembered today for his witty sense of humor, his belief in a free press, his devotion to civic improvement, his scientific curiosity, his practical inventions, and his statesmanship in the cause of America's independence.